Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Let's talk about Love is Blind, Season 6, Episode 7, Silence Speaks Volumes. So as the episode opens up, we are picking right back up with Jimmy and Chelsea. And this is just a spillover from the situation with Jimmy and him kind of being a little bit overly flirtatious with AD. And so Jimmy is apologizing still to Chelsea, and Chelsea is saying, I love you 100 times. And honestly, I'm over this couple. I really am. I really wish Chelsea would have chose Trevor, but who am I? Moving over to Kenneth and Brittany, they're back in their hotel room and they're basically just recapping the night when, all of the group, they were first meeting each other for the first time. And so Kenneth brings up the fact that, he had spoken with AD and AD had brought up the fact that they were an interracial couple and having Black children. And so Brittany is, trying to understand what AD's intent was behind that. Basically, Brittany is wanting to make sure that AD had good intentions around that conversation about having children when she was speaking with Kenneth. And Kenneth is trying to reassure Brittany that it was good intentions behind the conversation. Now, again, Kenneth has never dated outside of his race before. This is his first time, and I definitely feel like he has some reservations about it. Brittany, on the other hand, she is talking as if she has been in an interracial relationship before. She's talking about how, she's had to deal with different people questioning the fact that, okay, if you marry a Black man and you have Black children, these are the things that you're going to have to face. She sounds like she's been in a situation like this before. And so now Kenneth is saying that, based on the conversation he had with AD, he does have some concerns, which honestly, let's be real. Kenneth probably already had reservations in the back of his mind. He's never dated outside of his race before. However, he knew before he asked Brittany to marry him, he knew that she was white. So really, Kenneth, what's the problem? You already knew. Kenneth is going on to talk about how, his friends and family back home know that he's never dated interracially before, and although they might like Brittany as a person, they will definitely be questioning his decision to marry a white woman. And it really does seem like he has some pause about this. Like he's really having second thoughts. I mean, I don't want to assume too much at this point in the season, but it really sounds like he has second thoughts about being with Brittany. So Kenneth is saying that his friends and family will ask, are y'all good? Meaning Kenneth and Brittany together. And so Brittany is posing the question to him, okay, so to you, what would make us good? He's really having to think long and hard about this. Yeah, Kenneth, I don't know, buddy. You might should have thought about all of this before you asked her to marry you. So now we are moving over to Jeremy and Laura, and it looks like they're about to have a picnic by the beach. And Laura is kind of in a confessional saying that the night before was a really difficult night for her and Jeremy because he really did not say anything to her at all. He ended up sleeping on the couch. And if you recall from my previous video, the whole bean dip situation. So all of this is coming from the bean dip situation. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, go back and watch my recap of episode 6. So Laura and Jeremy are discussing the events from the night before. And basically, Jeremy is wanting to apologize to Laura for sleeping on the couch and being angry. And Laura is just kind of saying, going forward, if I say something to you in a joking manner, don't let our pillow talk go on out of this room. Let it stay between us. And Jeremy said, well, first of all, I did not do the bean dip to AD. But he goes on to say that he should not have reacted to Laura the way she did. And hopefully going forward, he's saying he's not perfect, but he will try to do better. So we're moving on to Johnny and Amy, and they really have a really good relationship. They are currently horseback riding through the woods. Not something that I would be interested in doing, but all I can say about Johnny and Amy is, it is nothing to see here. People, move around, keep on going, because right now they have it's no tension. They haven't really had any disagreements. But they are sitting talking and saying, they know that the disagreements will come and they may be big, but at the moment, move around, keep on pushing. So Kenneth and Brittany are currently taking a boat ride, and they're just kind of in the boat, and she is trying to talk a little bit, but it looks like something is on Kenneth's mind. He is maybe replying with one word here and there, and then it's just complete silence, and it looks really awkward, and it's complete silence for a really long time. Neither one of them are saying anything, and Brittany actually looks like she's thinking, I'm not going to continue to carry this conversation, until Kenneth looks over and they see, people swimming with the dolphins. And so he really gets excited about the dolphins. So Brittany is like, can we get dolphins all the time in this relationship? Because he was not talking at all. So they're still on the boat and just having a snack and some beverages and enjoying the view. And Brittany begins to talk about, she really likes physical touch. That's her love language. And Kenneth really doesn't say anything. He's just kind of looking out. And so she asks him, do you like physical touch? And he's like, yeah, I love it. And she's like, tell me more. Like, she's trying to get him to talk, to have conversation with her. I feel like he's kind of struggling in this area just a little bit, but really what I think it is that he really does not like her. He says that he does. He says that he loves her, but Kenneth doesn't like her. She goes on to say, you can touch me more. And he says, oh, I feel like I touch you a lot. And she says, no, I feel like you don't like me. Brittany, he don't, girl. I mean, I don't think, from what I'm seeing, the lack of communication, the lack of physical touch, things going on. He's concerned about his family and how they're going to feel about this interracial relationship. And maybe that's more so what it is. Maybe it's more so that he's concerned about what his family and friends will say versus the fact that he does or does not like you. Maybe he does like you, but he's just more concerned about that. And Brittany even goes as far as to say, as far as the physical touch is concerned, that, I feel like you really don't touch me a lot. Like, you don't seem to be very touchy-feely, so to speak. And he says, oh, wow, I've never heard that before. Matter of fact, I'm told that I'm overly affectionate. Yeah, girl, that's sign number 2. He don't even want to touch you for real. So now Clay and AD are sitting by the beach and they're having some lunch, and it must be a while. I mean, both of them are talking about how hungry they are. And so they're just talking about not only their food coming, but they're talking about how they grew up. She's from Boston. His dad is Guyanese, and they're kind of just talking about that. And then the food comes out, and Clay is eating, and they're both eating, but Clay literally picks up the bowl and drinks from the bowl. Like, it's soup that he has, but he's drinking from the bowl, y'all. Like, Clay, are you okay? And so after they're done eating, and Clay, he cleans his bowl, he also cleans the table. And, he's kind of just looking out at the water. And AD says, so what's on your mind? And he says, so I just, I don't want to let you down. And it really sparks a conversation between the two of them about where they are mentally. Clay is very much, you know, thinking about the upcoming wedding date and them having to make that decision. And then I think he's starting to feel a little bit of pressure because he begins to talk about, you know, his family and divorces and what it does to a family. And he doesn't want to let AD down. He knows how much this means to her. And so this conversation is kind of striking a chord with AD. She's like, you know, this really came out of nowhere. Like, where did this come from? Do you feel like you're going to let me down? And he's like, no, I just don't want to. Yeah, it seems like the pressure of the upcoming wedding is getting to Clay. The pressure is getting worse. So all the couples are meeting up again to have, you know, to play some games on the beach and to have some lunch, it looks like. And all I can think is, you know, Jimmy, mind your manners today. Let's not get stupid like we did the other night. And anyway, the girls are talking. Chelsea, Laura, and AD are off to the side talking. And all three of them have confirmed that, yes, they have been intimate with their spouses, soon to be spouses. Chelsea, Laura, and AD are talking about the fact that they have all consummated with their significant other. Yeah, and so now Jimmy is sitting there talking with AD. First of all, this is a no, immediately no. But what Jimmy is saying to AD is like, you know, I felt bad about what happened, but it really did help Chelsea and I. And AD says, well, I'm glad you guys talking about my behind helped you with Chelsea. Well, AD, now you be sliding them in too now. And now Laura is over talking to Johnny. And Laura just comes straight out and basically, well, she's saying how she really finds his relationship with Amy to be really cute. They look really cute together. They seem to be a really good match. And then she just slides in really quickly. I'm sure you guys are intimate already. Laura, why? Why are you asking this other man, somebody else's husband, if they're being intimate with their wife? Nevertheless, Johnny goes right ahead and says, we're taking it slow because, you know, she's not on birth control right now. And he does want to have children, but not right. It's not right at this time. You know, they want to be able to travel and get to know each other and do things before they actually have kids. And now Jeremy is having a conversation with AD, and of course he brings up the whole bean dip situation, and basically he just apologizes to her, and he felt he's letting her know that he felt really bad about it, and so bad to the point where he felt like he really wanted to leave the show, which he said that night, like he wanted to leave the vacation, he wanted to come back home. And so he then goes ahead and he talks about how are things going between AD and Clay, and she says that, you know, we're just trying to basically get on the same page. And so Jeremy does give a little bit of insight into Clay, just knowing him from the men's quarters, that sometimes he would be really up and excited and ready to go, and then there would be other times he would be really quiet. And so he's telling AD, you know, he seems to when he gets really quiet like that, he becomes really introspective. And he feels like, you know, when you see him do that, maybe give him a little time and a little bit of space. He's just thinking about things. And so she is thinking about her last conversation with Clay and how things kind of came out of left field. She's thinking, okay, yeah, so that makes sense. Another thing I noticed about Clay is that Clay can eat. Like, every time they're all together, we really don't see Clay talking to, when AD is talking to one-on-one with the girls or with the other men, Clay is nowhere to be found. Do you know why? Clay at that table eating. He is eating. So now Amy and Jeremy are having a conversation, and they're just basically filling each other in on how their relationships are going. And Jeremy starts to talk about, he goes back to the pods and how he was saying how he and Laura, when they were talking in the pods, you know, he knew exactly how things were going to go. Like if they got in an argument, he knew that it would be handled in a certain way, which is ultimately, you know, because he knew they had already had a lot of in-depth conversations, he knew how things would go, and he ended up choosing Laura versus Sarah Ann. But as he is sitting here talking to Amy, he's talking about, you know, Laura and Sarah Ann were 1 and 2 the whole time when they were in the pods, and how he does want to see Sarah Ann. And because he says, you know, if you remember, Sarah Ann had asked him, well, why did you make the decision you made? Like, what was it? What was the defining moment that made you choose Laura over me, Sarah Ann? And Jeremy, he couldn't answer. He did not have an answer for her. And so Amy is just sitting here listening like, I'm going to zip my lips right now. I'm not getting ready to say a word. Because Jeremy, how many, we're going to start counting the red flags, because you guys on here, yeah, they starting to add up quickly. So Amy and Johnny are having a little nightcap by the pool, and they're just talking. Basically, they're just talking about pet peeves and whatnot. She's like, I don't have any pet peeves for you. And because they're such the perfect couple, like nothing is wrong. But I will say that as they're talking, Amy is talking about how her family really does have a lot of input in her love life. And she is concerned that this process, her family will not understand this process. Her family is very traditional, and they may be against her getting married to a stranger. Well, he's not a stranger now, but they don't know him. And she feels like if they don't agree, she may not go through with this. So the gang is back in Charlotte, and they are moving into the shared apartments. And first of all, we see Nick and Vanessa Lachey basically saying they're going back to Charlotte. Okay, y'all, was that necessary? Do y'all get paid for the amount of times that y'all show up? Because to me, that wasn't necessary. We'll wait to see y'all to the end. But nevertheless, the couples are moving in. And I just wanted to take a moment to talk about Kenneth and Brittany, because so they're in their shared apartment, and Brittany is unpacking. And I do recall them saying that they are just now getting their mobile devices back. You know, they were not allowed to have them in the pods, and they did not have them when they were in the DR. But they do have their mobile devices, and Kenneth has been on his phone ever since they stepped foot inside the shared apartment. Brittany is trying to hold conversation with him and ask him, okay, what are we going to do for dinner? And he wants her to cook. Okay. We'll come back to that. Then as she's unpacking her stuff, she's like, are you going to unpack? And he's like, not right now. So she's asking him, okay, well, what side of the sink do you want? What side of the dresser do you want? And he is being unresponsive just on his phone. So at first they were upstairs together. Eventually, after being on his phone for so long, he does say, you know, I'm gonna go downstairs and chill. And so she's still up here unpacking, and he's downstairs now on his phone. Now you guys tell me, if you're coming off of a vacation now, mind you, I understand that they have not had their mobile devices, but the fact that they are focusing so much on this, you know, it had to be a lot. How would you feel if your partner, if you're trying to communicate with your partner and their face is constantly in the phone, and you're asking questions and your partner is not responding? What would you say? Now, I will give it to Kenneth. He did say, you know, that he is a principal, and he does have a presentation coming up in the next, you know, couple days, I suppose, from when this was filming. And, you know, he just wanted to make sure he had to send emails and all the like. But I don't know, you can't take a minute to talk to your partner. I don't know. So now Clay and AD are in the shared apartment, and you know they also have their devices back, but they were talking about how AD was talking about how she has already spoken with her sisters, her mom, and how they are excited, you know, about what's happening for her. And then Clay is talking about how, you know, basically his background, and we are getting a little more information as to why he kind of went introspect earlier in this episode and was feeling like he didn't want to let her down because he did grow up around infidelity. He was talking about how his dad, you know, cheated on his mom, even though his dad and his mom were best friends. They had a really good relationship, but he still cheated on his mom. And then he's talking about how his dad would even go so far as to take Clay with him when he was cheating on his mom. Now, sir, come to the front. Clay's dad, come to the front immediately. So Clay is continuing to talk about how, you know, even though his parents were together for 25 years, once they got a divorce, he said that he has never seen a black male be faithful to his woman. He's just never seen it. And he said it's not just his dad, it's celebrities, it's other people, but he feels like he's never seen that. So it'll be interesting. I mean, now we really get a glimpse as to why Clay is nervous about that. He feels some pressure because he definitely wants to be good. He does not want, I think he wants to treat AD well. He wants to give her what she wants. But at the same time, if that's all he grew up around, can he do it? I mean, can he really be faithful? I think he can. He wants to. It's what he want to do. You know, I'd be interested to know from Clay, like, what made him decide to do this show. Because he says that he wants to be married, but it's almost like he really don't believe in it. He said that he does not believe in a man being with one woman. So why did you choose Love is Blind? Well, guys, that brings us to the end of this episode. Hey, you know, I hope to see you guys the next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. We'll see you next time. Bye.